free agents before in Vegas, but trades. The one trade that is still out there, still not put to bed. We thought maybe it would after the draft, but I know our own Carmichael Dave was talking about this on Twitter and kind of reporting that, no, this is still a thing. The Kings are still in discussions about John Collins. I'm going to go back to kind of the way this started on all our fronts. I know you're probably more pro John Collins than I am, but what I did like hearing, Jay, was when the rumor was out there again, it started to be talked about, and Sam was talking about this, that no, it's not involving the fourth pick. I said, well, I'm more interested in that. I mean, you always want more talent, and John Collins is talented. I don't want anybody to misconstrue that. But I'm thinking fit, thinking contract. I've seen numbers reduce a little bit for him in Atlanta, maybe some health things. So I can find some concerns. I know what the draw would be. So you kind of you try to sell me on why a John Collins move would make sense.
Well, because you can probably get him for not much, and here's why.
What's not much to you?
Not much to me is like Harrison Barnes and probably a protected first. To me, that is such
That's a win for the Kings?
That's a huge win for the Kings,
really?
If you ask me. I don't see Harrison staying here long term.
Okay, that's fine. But who's your three?
Your three's Keegan Murray, right? Okay. And that's
who at this moment is unknown, but you draft him for a reason to think he's going to be a dude.
And everything that we've read says he can play the 3 or the 4.
Yes, I believe that.
So if you have him playing the 3 at, is he 6'9"?
Yeah, something
6'8", 6'9". Yeah. And then you have a 6'9" John Collins who has a long wingspan.
So suddenly a
super
shorter
athletic.
team is big.
You're bigger, which that, again, solves some of your backcourt issues with how small they are. But John Collins does have concerns. Again, to me, the number one concern with John Collins is just staying healthy. He has had health issues. That's well documented. But when he's been on the floor and been considered a focal point of the Atlanta offense, you go back to just 2 years ago, dude averaged, I think, 20 and 11 on 40% from the 3. He is a lob threat. He's super athletic. Domas can find him the ball. De'Aaron can find him the ball in the pick and roll. He can also stretch the floor.
That he can.
And I feel like if you have Sabonis at your 5, you need a 4 that can stretch. And John Collins has potential, man, to be a all-star caliber player in this league. And you get him on a 4-year contract, and he's young.
Well, I like the age. I'm a little concerned about the contract. I don't think it's absurd, but I don't know that I love it. I'm trying to really map out in my mind if the Kings are better with that group than they are with Harrison Barnes.
I think they are.
So it's Sabonis, Murray, Barnes, let's say DiVincenzo, Fox versus that same group. Take out Barnes, put in Murray at the 3, Collins at the 4. I'm not with certainty that they are.
I like Harrison more of the person than the player.
Okay.
I love Harrison Barnes as a person. I think he's been great for the organization. He's been great for the community. He's a solid basketball player. We've said this before. Ideally, Harrison Barnes, if he's on your team, is your 4th or 5th best option. John Collins realistically has the potential to be your 2nd best option on offense. Realistic, he does. He has the potential. I'm not saying he would be, but even he's your 3rd best option. That's already an upgrade to me. And Harrison just has those spells where he disappears. He really does. He has those, and I think that's always been kind of the knock on Harrison. You see that he's a talented player.
Well, would he be the 4th option if everything goes right this year? You're assuming monster stuff from Sabonis. You're assuming 20-plus from Fox. If Murray, that's an if, huge if.
That's just it, though.
Right. But I'm not asking for 20, but what if he's a 15 a game? That's pretty good. And now is Harrison your 4th guy? Now, there's some nights where Harrison might score 30 and is your leading scorer.
Sure.
But there's also the night where he floats and you're like, wow, he had 8 and on 3 of 6 shooting. You're like, he had 8 points tonight.
Or is it better to bring in a guy like Collins who, let's say he's your 3rd best scorer. This is your 3rd best player on offense, but he's consistent about it. And then Keegan's your 4th best. I think that's a better option. I don't want to force Keegan into feeling like he has to be the 3rd best player on this team.
No, you want it
to
naturally happen. Yeah. I mean, that's the best. And I think they're in a better position. Like if in past years where the Kings, I mean, again, look, we're talking about 16 years of futility, but there's been some years, and you guys could understand this and relate to it, where they've legitimately been awful, and that 4th pick, Keegan Murray, would have to come in here and score basically like 20-plus, win the Rookie of the Year, and you are definitely the franchise guy. Now they want all of those things, but no, this is on Fox. This is on Sabonis right now. You don't have to do the heavy lifting. You are going to be a contributor to this group.
Here's what you should want Keegan Murray to feel like And again, you want him to perform above this, but as a rookie, we're going to start you, come in, play solid defense, get rebounds, and hit open buckets when guys like De'Aaron and Sabonis find you. You're going to get, max 10 shots a game, but if you're shooting 50% and of those 10 shots, 5 are threes and you're hitting 2 and you're rebounding and playing defense, I mean, I feel like he's your fourth best guy. That's perfect.
This is a really interesting one because I don't know that I don't see it being clear cut. You're way more in favor of the one option.
Yes, for sure.
And you'd have to give up a first?
If it's a protected first, you're going to eventually, and we've talked about this at length, the Kings are going to have to give up draft capital at some point to get better.
Yeah.
Now. They have to. And I know Monty McNair is saying that there's no, mandatory playoff appearance next year. I don't buy that. I don't buy that the words mandatory are being thrown out there.
Said, but the goal is to make it. It's obvious.
My point is this. If they don't make the postseason next year, I don't think he's here, which I don't think is fair to him, by the way.
I agree with that. I think he should have been extended already.
I do too, but I still think that'll be the result. So there is definitely a win now mentality going forward. It's very obvious.
What's your best read on, if we look at Harrison Barnes rumors, remember maybe trade deadline last year or a little before
2
that.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, it was like Romeo Langford and something else from Boston. I'm like, yeah. Which at this point, I feel like Barnes, it's gone up. It's gone up for him, what more you could get. You think you could get more for him now in a full season with a team or desperate time at trade deadline? Like you ride it and see, and can you get more for him? I mean, John Collins would be a lot for Harrison Barnes, but can you get more for him in February?
I don't think so. You're banking on him having a career year at that point.
Or just the fact that he's expiring and he's a proven vet. Like all the qualities that people like of Harrison can be there and still in place. Character, quality, proven, pro, all that, and expiring.
I want to go back to a point you just made, though. Do you think right now there is a better player than John Collins that a Harrison Barnes package could net you? That's available.
I guess it would be the other parts of the package would net that, right?
Let's say Harrison Barnes is the lead player, but you can also put in filler, around him to get to a higher salary player plus your draft picks. Like, who is that guy?
I don't have the answer off the top of my head. I don't know.
Like, if Bradley Beal were available in Washington, I'm picking up the phone. It won't take more. It'd take Barnes. It probably takes something like Barnes, Holmes, and like multiple firsts to even get Washington to pick up the phone.
If the Spurs are sticking to what they're saying, it's going to take 3 to 4 first-round picks to get Dejounte Murray.
And by the way, if they do, and they, Atlanta's rumored to want Dejounte Murray. If they acquire him, they almost have to trade John Collins.
Right.
Because you have Herter's extension kicking in, Trae Young's extension kicks in. You're going to have to extend DeAndre Hunter at some point. Like, they're just going to run out of money.
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, as much as we're talking about this from the Sacramento perspective, and that's what we're going to do, I think once you put his name out there, I just feel like Atlanta could get, like, if you could get Dejounte Murray, I'm going after him. As opposed to Harrison Barnes.
Well, that's why I asked you guys the other day, do you think he could fit next to Fox?
Dejounte Murray? Yes.
If you believe that,
but I don't think the Kings can get him. I'm talking about Atlanta. Like I'm looking at a bigger price or piece because they were again in the conference finals 2 years ago. Last season.
But if you're the Spurs and the Kings offered you, because I think you could get Dejounte Murray, if you really buy into the idea that he can play next to Fox, he's an all-star. He's a former All-NBA defender. I think the Spurs say yes to, hey, we'll give you Harrison Barnes, 3 firsts and 2 swaps. Mm-hmm. And there you go. Then you're just banking on Fox, Murray, and Sabonis. Like, this is our core moving forward.
That would scare me. I mean, I think there's no doubt that he's talented, but you just say Murray, Fox, Sabonis, and you got to keep Sabonis, by the way.
Yeah.
Because if you don't and you lose him, like you've killed
I'll tell you this.
Years of this team.
If Murray and Fox were to fit next to each other, you're going to have no problem keeping Domas because the Kings are a playoff team. If those two pieces fit next to it, and that's just such a big